After a G7 summit in Italy focused on Russia's war on Ukraine, Justin Trudeau arrived in Switzerland for more talks about tackling the same crisis. At a mountain resort not far from Zurich, more than 90 countries are represented at the summit on peace in Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky put the case against Russia to the group.
No one had the right to kidnap the children of another nation. No one had the right to undermine peace. We are able to ensure the effectiveness of such principles.
But there are notable absences from the Swiss summit that has some questioning how useful it will really be. U.S. President Joe Biden was in Italy for the G7, but chose instead to fly home to attend a campaign fundraiser. He sent the vice president in his place.
If the world fails to respond when an aggressor invades its neighbor, other aggressors will undoubtedly become emboldened.
China, which wields more influence on Russia than other nations, took a pass on the talks. And Russia wasn't invited. President Vladimir Putin calls the talks futile.
If Russia was interested in peace, there would be no war. We must decide together what a just peace means for the world and how it can be achieved in a truly lasting way.
As its military makes new battlefield gains, Russia has proposed a peace agreement that would see it take control of large chunks of Ukraine's territory. Zelensky says to accept the offer would amount to a surrender. The goal of this summit, to rally pressure on Russia from beyond the nations of Europe and North America, to Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. But today, some concerns about a plan hammered out at the G7 to skim the interest earned on frozen Russian financial assets to fund Ukraine's defense.
The unilateral appropriation of Russia's assets is equally unlawful, unacceptable, and a derogation from the UN Charter.
Trudeau didn't speak to the working group today, but before he left Italy, he said he hoped for a focus on a particularly horrific element of the war.
This is part of the effort that we all undertake to engage. I'm going to be focusing in particular on the issue of children stolen from Ukraine by Russia.
Ukraine says about 20,000 children have been taken to camps in Russia and Belarus, many of them orphaned by shelling and fighting.
Russia invaded Ukraine and has caused billions of dollars worth of damage to infrastructure, to individuals, and on top of killing too many Ukrainians. We think that Russia should be paying for that.
Trudeau will lead a session tomorrow addressing the human costs of the Ukraine conflict before returning to Ottawa. But it's uncertain if a forceful denunciation of Russia's conduct, even from the long list of countries gathered here, will do anything to end a war now in its third year. Glenn McGregor, City News, Cersei, Switzerland.